one of the questions you might have is, why do we use our longest log 16 foot? And why is that, Jack?
Because you can pick them up. If you use a 40-foot log, it's hard to pick those up, you have to have a crane. And actually, a 16-foot log or an 8-foot log, you can keep those straighter than a 40-foot log. If you buy a 40-foot log, it's probably going to have a curve or crown in it. And if you use shorter logs, but we got a process and a way of putting a log together that is 8 foot. If you look at that house up there, you see very few logs that are put together. They're always put together at a certain place, and they're always staggered. So from window to window, it's a solid log and underneath that anyway. And if you buy let's say a house that has 40-foot logs, there's only usually about 4 to 6 logs that go in that house that are 40-foot long, but you still have to have your crane out. That's the top log. That's usually the only logs that are long. And what they're trying to do is put in. So they do the same thing. You have to cut it in two in between the windows. Anyway, what we do, we just figured out a good way of putting it together. But like block material, we cut this, we won't cut it to length. It'll be a long board and send it with the package. And they'll have a notch, which they have notches for doors and windows. We'll show this to you a little later. But there's a notch. You would actually put that in there. But before I put that together, I would put some caulk up the end for that before I put it together. After I put this in, the same little void is left inside of this. So now I'll spray foam in there. So now your log is straight and it's sealed. If you put this together like this and you don't put any screws in this, you would really, really have trouble taking that back apart once you sprayed all that in to get dry. Because we actually took logs up before. It's really hard to get back apart, even the caulk and the spray foam to hold this together. So your log is straight, and you do have a little joint there. But when you look at the house, there are very few of those little joints in any house because we try to maximize the longest log to fit into these places. Electricity. Ed was talking about, we've been talking about electricity. It scares people because it's log home, believing that you can't wire. Basically, that's I think a 16, 18 inch auger bit. And what most people would do is mark it like Ed was telling you. You mark it off. Actually, you want it marked off so you know the electricity is going to go there. And you just drill a hole. It will go all the way through, come out through the subfloor. So you've got the opening. You'll mark it. You'll mark the box in there and put an X in it. So that will tell you where the center of the hole is at. And if the crews are doing it, they will actually cut a gash in behind this. So when you router that out, there's a lot of ways to take that out. You take it out with jigsaw, routers, even chainsaws with no oil in it, wood chisel, but you just cut that box out and you've got an opening to go in there. Then when you come to your doors, you can run that up. Josh is going to put the door frame in, and there's actually a little void inside the log. So there's a space there that you can run anything up through there. There'll be a space in there, and if you have a lot of wires, you can chop that log, and then when you get up to your, let's say your light switches, then you drill a hole sideways. Now you've got the wire coming up, going over in, and you cut your boxes out, and you may have 4 switches there. I've seen 9 wires go up one door frame. So after you get to there, outside line, you just go on up the lock, up the door, and then you drill a hole out the same way. Because you've got open to the lock, you set your light. If you're going up TC to B, you're going up and drill a hole up through the log, now you're in your safe bed. So you're up on the second floor. A lot of the wiring is still in your stud wall and all that. It's not like you use them all the time. I think 8 foot apart is somewhere all you need to put on the wall, and you drill a hole for this for your TV, internet, anything the same way. You just drill your hole, mark what it is, and then bring the wire up in. And it's really quick.